Hello, sexy soul. Alright, we are here for another coffee and tarot. My old knees, I can't do it. Okay. Yeah, so we are going to do another read. I'm sorry, they're already pulling me to cards. They're like telling me to focus. So go ahead, grab your coffee, your tea, your lemon water smoothie, juice, wine. I don't care what it is. Whatever you want to cozy up with or sit down with while we do this read. Let's check in and see if there's any messages for you. Okay. I gotta reach around. Sorry, guys. We're gonna start off with the Golden Universal. Hope everyone's been doing well. Oh my gosh. Okay, cards are being difficult. Acting a donkey. Sorry. That probably means something. Whew, there we go. Once I called it out. Good God. Nope, not yet, sir. Man, sometimes intros just take shit fire save matches a lot. All right, let's do this. What we got going on here? I'm putting it back. I'm feeling the need. It needs to flip out. Like, we're not taking any maybes, kindas. I mean, it's like it's either. Okay, I've got the feeling that you're like, I don't want any half-ass anything. Like, I'm getting the message like Spirit better not tell me anything that might happen. Like, it is or it isn't. Like, at this point, you're just not entertaining anything that's up in the air. There we go. You're not entertaining anything that's up in the air or half-ass is what I want to say. Alrighty. Okay. They want me to swishy swishy. Swishy swishy. Okay, this was on top of everything, so I guess it would have gone first. All right, overall energy is something brand new. Taking a leap of faith, good old tried and true. Okay. This is on the heels of, this is after having discernment, right? Not your first rodeo is what I'm hearing. And so when you set out, you're not nearly as naive of a fool on this journey. You've been around the block a time or two, and so you kind of understand. You're walking through this with like eyes wide open is what I'm hearing. But optimistic. Something is, this is like my crispy burnt done, right? And I want to say that in this particular deck, all of the swords are pure. I don't know why. I'm hearing a lot of stuff. It's flowing through my mind, and I cannot get it out fluidly enough. I cannot communicate and articulate as well. Like, I feel like I'm trying to get this shit the fuck out. It's frustrating. I feel like you've been very, very frustrated at executing something. Probably this new start, whatever this fucking thing is. So the thing with this Ten of Swords is they're in the front. They're not stabbing this man in the back, okay? A lot of times we want to feel like we were stabbed in the back, we played victim, or sometimes it wasn't victim, sometimes some shit really happened to us and that somebody stabbed us in the back, or things happened to us that were beyond our control, and it really, you know what I mean? But this, I feel like, is a saying you were at the helm of whatever shitty energy that you were in. Almost as if I want to say there may have been things that were going on that were beyond your control, but the degree at which it felt shitty really had a lot to do with your mental state. And there's this sense of you almost had to go there. My nose is itching crazy. You had to go there to surrender. And we've talked about this before. Sometimes we are, like, Spirit will let us just pressure cook. You know those pressure cookers, and the steam just until it goes and it's like all done. And you've got to release the pressure somehow. And it's almost as if you would not surrender until you hit this point of, because prior to the 10 is the 9. So you had so much mental stress, anxiety, fear, anger I'm hearing. Like you literally were just blowing your top. That's what I'm hearing internally. In regards to some stuff that was really, really, I'm feeling like you weren't the only, like, it wasn't just you. It wasn't just you being, like, playing a victim. You really were at the helm of some stuff, but it's almost like you, because of what was happening, because of the occurrences that we're going through, this is so slow. I cannot do this. Good Lord. Yeah, I feel like I'm walking through mud. I feel like I am in your energy, and forever who this is, and it's like walking through mud. It's like quicksand almost. Almost like the quicker I try to move, the more I try, oh, that I get it. The quicker I try to do something, or the more I try to execute something, the more I sink, and the more I get pulled down, and the more that I get trapped. And I think that's what you did. And you had to, you almost spun out mentally in regards to this. And I know that I want to say that Spirit recognizes that it was unfair, whatever you were going through, what you were experiencing. Because it does sound like there were circumstances and situations beyond your control that were being, I don't know why they use this word, perpetrated on you. Some seen, some unseen, they're saying. And you were the one that was left to deal with the repercussions of it, basically. And your level of, like, I'm seeing somebody who has a sword that could just, that was, the anger was so great. You were just like, this is like negatively aspected King of Swords. Like you were ready to cut anybody's head off is the way it feels to me. Metaphorically, obviously. And so things went spiraling out of control internally almost. And it seems like Spirit had to let you, I know that sounds really weird, so that you could fully surrender. Because you were still so very, very, very upset at the occurrences that had come. Like, I want to say you got angry with Spirit, you got angry with the universe, you got angry with, you were, holy shit. And the other thing that they're saying is, I think that the reason why you were so pissed is because you were very, very, very aware. I want to say there's some people that felt like you, like these circumstances and situations, didn't think you were as aware as you were. They didn't think that you knew the truth, and you did. And so you literally had to sit there and watch something unfold and be patient to let things happen the way that they needed to happen. Like, I think you knew there really wasn't anything overtly that you could do, but the anger at which the level of anger you had from having to witness, watch, and know all along what was really happening and really going on, and having to endure the repercussions because of what other people chose and decided. Some of it was yours, how you chose to, but it's almost like they're saying you ended up turning around and seeing all the swords. That's why they're not stabbed in your back. But also, you kind of spun out. You spun out a little bit, and it's almost like the person that, like, sees an injustice and they can't just let it go. They can't just let it have happened. But sometimes the best course is to, they're giving me the scenario of somebody who sometimes, like with narcissists, you give a person, there's an old saying, you give a person enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Meaning that if you just shut up and let somebody talk, they will reveal their own lies. They can't keep up with their own lies. They can't keep up with their own manipulation, and you'll see the truth that way. But if you get involved in the argument, they can flip the script and turn it on you, and then they can become the victim in the scenario, and it's like this, they have leverage for manipulation then. But when you don't engage and you don't call it out and you don't hold that mirror up, they will falter. And you had to do that. You literally had to do that. You had to let somebody else show everyone else, or show who their true colors, rather than you calling that circumstance or situation out. And in that, you ended up experiencing certain things that you then had to deal with the repercussions of, and you were so fucking fed up with that. And I want to say that this new beginning may have potentially been able to start sooner, but this is the kind of situation where, like, stress and anxiety and everything like that was so great. You probably had some, like, physiological responses to it, experiencing migraines, to the point of, like, unexplainable ailments. And, like, just, like, you had to carry such a heavy burden, all the while watching. It's almost like you just could see this shit coming, and you had to let it happen. And but in the course of that, your mind almost felt like it was its own entity, and it took away. And it's like the burden of the anger and the frustration and the anxiety and the stress. I almost get a feeling of, and some people may not really be aware of how this diagnosis works. So if you don't, then just ignore it. But OCD, it's the obsessive compulsion that you can't control. And especially when your body, or your mind, your mind is needing dopamine, but you're in a lot of negativity. The number one source of dopamine, or trigger for dopamine, is actually negativity. When the body experiences something that it interprets as negative, it will send out dopamine to try and address the situation, right? And so our bodies, or our minds more specifically, can get addicted to negative triggers to get the dopamine that it needs to appropriately respond to situations, right? But it's almost like the thing that is meant to help us can also hinder us, right? Your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness, even with the body, even with the mind. And sometimes our systems that are meant to keep us alive and operating well, and are meant to actually help our body, can hinder it as well. So I feel this sense of like the level of the inability to let go of the anger, the inability to let go of the thoughts. It's almost like it preyed on you, right? And I think detachment was the only way that you were able to deal with this as it was happening, and like you had to work through the feelings of things in spurts, because it was just too much physiologically to deal with. And so you kind of have just come out of dealing with the last of it, but I want to say it feels like the last of the swords may be just about to drop, because I kind of get this feeling like something about the scenario of what people are doing is, you think it's still happening, and Spirit is like telling me right now it's actually about to end. It's actually about to blow up. Wow. Okay. Like, you are not aware of how things are unraveling for the other persons. I feel like for some of you it might be one person, but I feel like there is a group or multiple people in your life that you've had. I'm getting a sense of family, close friends, people that you know, but maybe are not necessarily close to anymore. Okay. This could even be like exes and that kind of stuff. So whoever this is, you have had to watch some things. And this is almost like that feeling of you were in that phase. Damn, I'm getting so much from this Ten of Swords. You're in that phase of letting things go. And you know how, like, when you let things go, but they don't want to let go of you. And so sometimes the separation process can be a while. Yes, for some people, it can take years. And in that, you literally just had to you were a witness and a witness to and experience the repercussions from their inability to completely untether from you energetically. So, and you may be of the thought, I want to say that you've reached this energy of surrender, and I feel like you're going to be in this energy of surrender as that last. Actually, they're giving it to me like the last sword was already, you know, but you feel like you're like this dude. God dang, I'm trying to explain the energy, guys. The guy in this card, he's done surrendered, but the swords are still there. And I bet he's just like, he's already just like, he's not even trying to fight it. He's, you know, he's not even trying to pull the swords out. There's no more like this. There's no more like social justice attempts on your part in this situation. But what I feel is going to happen are these swords are suddenly just going to fall away. Meaning that there's an event or something that's going to happen or occur where I get this feeling like, how does this person keep getting away with this? How do people like that who operate at that frequency continue to have success in their life? And those who are pure or who are putting forth the effort to evolve continue to suffer. Like, that's the way that it feels. And I feel like you're like, just as you're in this energy of surrendering, and it almost feels like to the idea of maybe there won't ever be any justice the way that you felt like justice should happen, that would have made you happy. Like they wouldn't have any repercussions for putting you through those repercussions, kind of a thing. I feel okay, I feel like you're going to get to see that as soon as this surrender, which I don't think that you do oh so willingly. I got to be honest with you. I don't think there was a conscious decision. I think that you you literally have expelled every bit of your energy to the point where you had no choice but to. You know? Is that person who's fighting to swim upstream or in the rapids, or at least to stay above water in raging waters, and they just let go. It's the, oh, what is that, where people talk, yeah. Anyways, I'm seeing like raging rapids, and it's like you're trying to swim along with the currents and you just can't. And as soon as they let go, they get taken to calmer waters, right? And so it's almost as if you just put fighting against the current. And only because you exhausted yourself. Like, you just can't. You've got no more fight left. Ooh. Okay. But a lot of this fight was internal. It was like a raging battle inside of you. And just as that happens, you get to witness, it feels like to me, some sort of justice happen. And in that, and I think that's what there's a change in the energy. Like, it's no longer things happening behind the scenes and such is da-da-da-da. It's no longer just something inside of you. This is you witnessing it external to you, right? So the winds of change, everything changes. Things begin to change and look differently. And there's some sense of freedom that comes with this. And I want to say, yes, there's an internal freedom, but there's something tangible external to you that, because it's almost like because of the truth being seen and the person being seen for what they are and everything else like that, you get untethered and you now have the freedom, or mobility is what they're saying. They're using the word mobility, to move and roam freely. And that's why I'm looking at, look at how blissful this MFer is. You see this? He is just like, it's the kind of thing where the day after this shit happens, you walk outside early in the morning with your cup of coffee and it just feels good. It's that cold, crisp morning, not cold, but like, you know, like fall weather, like autumn, where it's just crisp enough where you breathe it in and it feels so good. And the air feels clean and clear. You can get a deep breath. It's almost like I can breathe again. I can just, there's nothing stopping me. It's almost like the dawn of a brand new day, blah, 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 blah. That's the energy that it feels, right? But I think that this isn't just metaphorical. I don't think that this is just something that you're going to be experiencing internally. And that's what, I was feeling a lot of excitement before, sorry guys, I keep hitting the camera. I was feeling a lot of excitement before I got on, but I feel like, so the big message here is things are about to change. And I think that somebody needed to know, because you may have been saying something recently in the energy of not having the energy to fight anymore and just whatever may be, meaning if there's no justice in a situation as you see justice or as you feel justice would be, even karmically they're saying, you know, it's like, well, we always wonder about scales balancing, and sometimes we just have to accept that we have to move on, that what we perceive would be like appropriate justice, you know, wouldn't happen. And there's something about you getting to witness this. You will see this. It's like as soon as you stop fighting the current inside. And I feel like you've been waiting for this. Like maybe the journey to this type of justice happening has taken a lot longer than it should. And when I say should, I even feel like Spirit's saying that. But you do get to witness this. Okay. Okay. And I think that's the bigger message. Like, yeah, sure, the energies change and everything else like that. But it's almost like before you take off on this, on the split, I'm pulling out the kipper. Change. Big change. Just before you take off on this new path, whatever this is, because it's almost like your whole life gets to change because of this. Like it is a 180. It's a fucking 180, whatever's happening. Let's find out. But we harped on this one for a while because somebody needs to know before you go out. I feel like it's like immediately. I don't know what this is, or if you've been waiting, like I can't make moves until something like this happens, and maybe you resigned yourself, like I'm not gonna be able to do anything and everything's gonna stay the same and I'm just gonna have to be okay with it. But it's this energy of as soon as those swords fall out, as soon as the truth, like everybody gets to see this. I want to say MFer. I don't know why I'm feeling like everybody gets to see this MFer. Like this is like the person on the self-imposed pedestal, and you get to watch them fall. And you know, I'm saying that, and I'm thinking, well, we shouldn't take joy in somebody else's demise, but I want to say it feels like it's the least, man. Okay, so there must be some ancestors or something coming along here, because I feel like your ancestors are like, it's the least we could do for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a bloodline type of response, in my opinion. Yeah, there's something here. There's some kind of justice that's going to come that you get to visibly watch. And it's almost like, it's the least we could do. Alrighty then. Holy shit. And the thing with the surrender is you were ready to move on just before this happened. So it's almost like, but I don't feel the connection. I got to be honest with you. I don't think it's because you suddenly surrender and now this justice happens. It was going to happen one way or the other. You just took a long time to get to the place of surrender. I got to be honest with you. I don't want to say like a long time, but you did. It took longer than, but I get this feeling that Spirit understands. Like whoever is with you, helping, guiding you through this, they understand. They get it. They get it, and they don't blame you for being in that energy. And it's almost like they held space for you. Because that kind of anger has to be experienced and processed and pushed out of your energetic field for any real true new path to open up. But it's almost like, it's almost like, I'm not, there's a word that was said, I'm like, I don't think that's an appropriate, like, as a reader, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, you're going to get to see that. Let's just put it that way. And I don't get negative energy entities. It's just one of those things where, can I just tell you that even, I don't do toxic positivity and everything's nothing but love and light. Spirit is a balance of everything, the yin and the yang, and an acceptance of all of it. And so for me, it's like, you know, some people would deem something as, oh, spirit would never. It's like, bullshit. Bullshit. Don't ever put parameters on spirit. And don't ever classify something as positive or negative or evil or love and light based upon your human experience and understanding and knowing. Like, that's the same as, like, when Christians try to put human parameters on God. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Get it? Anywho. So, yeah. I don't know why I went on that tangent. I feel like I needed to... Damn. Can we just pull some cards? Good God. Dang. Guys. This came flipped out first and then this flipped out over here, which this may be describing that. But I'm going to put it like this because I think at the center of it is having had to do without. It was that being in place, having to accept that maybe things just aren't going to move forward and you're going to have to be okay with things as they are. And not getting that justice and not having that freedom of movement, because I definitely feel a situation of monetary, like really, really being imprisoned by that. But also the greater picture of this is just the lack of movement, the lack of freedom, of choice. And I think whatever it is that you were, or whoever, whatever circumstance you were wanting to be free from, your wish, that's happening. And because of that, you will experience a 180 in your life. I think whatever this justice is, causes them to finally let go energetically. Oh, my nose. Why do I feel like I want to... We're going to pull out some Lenormand really quick. Like, it is so. Official person is, it's happening. It's something that you didn't have control over, but they're reassuring you it's happening. And then we've got the Lovers. It's either about harmony or love, right? And I am getting harmony, like there will be balance, harmony within your life. It is so. It's going to happen. But I'm feeling something else. Like, I feel like there is some kind of... opportunity. Yeah. Earlier we saw change in the female. Again, I'm taking that as you're going to be in the feminine energy of receiving something. You're going to be receiving something. That's the way that I'm taking it. And you're going to receive this opportunity. You're going to be able to receive an opportunity. We got the message cards and the key. So yeah, something's going to come into you. What is coming in? What's the offer? Good Lord. Change. Again. I cannot help but think for some of you it is going to be a change of your environment and home. Home where you stay, almost like you're, because the anchor is all about being able to, you know, it's the harbors that you're used to. It's the area that you've anchored down in. But this card specifically talks about pulling up anchor and moving to a different shore, right? And so this actually can be very legitimately a different, how do I put this? Somewhere different, like a real move, a real change of your environment. Yeah, change of home. I didn't pay attention to the home card. Holy shit. Okay, so there's a good portion of you that there's been something that's been limiting you. Definitely family, close friends, somebody who's tethered their energy to you. You have spent some time letting go, but they didn't want to let go of you. And as a result, there were things that you had to endure that you held on. You had the burden of dealing with the repercussions of that. And you were waiting for justice, and it's almost like you felt like that justice wouldn't happen. And the tether, whatever, and this could be a literal tether that they had over you. Like maybe you still owed somebody some money in your family, and so they were like, I'll take you to court and get the vehicle from you. It could be an ex, using children as leverage. It could be, all kinds of stuff, right? There's a million scenarios. It could be wanting to get away from a job, but you were under contract and it's a really toxic environment, but maybe something happens where they break the contract, or you're able to break the contract because of something that happens, and you're able to move away. So I feel like there's actually a move, and we will say, hey, this could be just, changes in your life and making moves, but they're honing in on a specific group to say there's somebody out there that needs to know you'll be able to move home. You'll be able to move home. And I say that because here we are. The ship. I'm not fucking, when I say pulling up anchor and you're moving somewhere else, but can I also say that this is also the card of small businesses and business ventures and, e-commerce and all kinds of commerce. But it is also about the ship being able to sail to different shores, being able to go, the mobility that we're talking about again, the mobility. So whether it's business or relationship or family or home environment, although I am heavily getting, there is a group in here that's going to be able to move. And it's probably tied into some type of work opportunity, because the moon card in this deck is really about the recognition. It's about having the light shown on you and being elevated because of that. A lot of like fame and things like that, but obviously within whatever realm you operate, right? So if we're talking about business ventures where you get to have, you're going to be offered something, and it's going to allow you, the offer is probably going to have something to do with your finances, career, things like that. It's going to allow you to move. Yeah, it's some kind of, you're going to be partnering up with something or someone. It's going to be a really well-balanced, harmonious partnership. And the person that's able to give it to you comes through. But I think the major message is, it's almost like you get to witness the justice, and it's almost like simultaneously or almost immediately after is what it feels like to me. The energy where the speed at which this other change can happen. And it's almost like you feel slightly like, oh my God, that had to be divinely orchestrated. Like if this other scenario didn't, if the justice didn't come through, whatever this offer was, I probably wouldn't have been able to go for it. Ooh. That might have been a part of what you were up in your head about too. You knew you just couldn't. Okay. Okay. Definitely fill me in. Fill me in the comments. Let me know what's going on. I mean, as much as you want. You don't have to, put your business out there. But when this happens, let me know how this transpired. I am curious as shit. All right. You have a fantastic day.